I was right there. Right up in that spot. I remember when everyone started cheering you and then he showed up. I tried calling it out, but no one heard me. He was just standing there, like he was invisible. If what you're saying is true, and the package was really changed, then I don't know how it could have happened. Maybe you can find it during this video, which, by the way, is probably longer than the entire game. Today, we're gonna talk about Need for Speed Carbon. I know. Blue Tech, we just had a video on Most Wanted the other week. Don't worry, fellow viewer, we'll have a lot to talk about in the future too. For now, just sit down and enjoy the video. Before we begin, however, I'll quickly let you know that I've been streaming on Twitch every day at 2 PM GMT +1. So if you want to have some fun, make sure to follow me there to stay up to date with whatever video I'm making at the moment. And even some other stuff. But for now, let's get ourselves immersed into Need for Speed Carbon. We start with a cutscene of our character in a canyon, entering Palmont City. Cross follows us and he's got a brand new haircut now. Nice. We go down the mountain trying to escape him, but the road is closed at the end. We hit a truck, dropping the entire load on top of the BMW, while Cross blocks our exit. Cross comes to talk to us, but we are interrupted by Darius, who tells Cross he cannot do bounty hunting in Palmont City without his approval. So I guess he controls the city. And Cross is a bounty hunter now. I'm assuming it has something to do with this? And this?
The UC thought you were the one, but you're mine now.
And maybe this.
I want every single unit after the guy.
Everyone?
Everyone!
Nikki shows up and apparently she's extremely pissed at you. Darius explains that there's been a lot of heat with people racing for territory. And now you have to help him regain more territory as a way to pay him back for the money you owe him. Money, I hear you asking? So, apparently before the events of Most Wanted, we already ran around Palmont City, and in one race against the other leaders, the police got involved. We were the only ones to escape and our money bag was changed. We were forced then to run away, and from my understanding, that's where Most Wanted starts. However, now we have a mystery in our hands, one that we have to discover by progressing through the game. We of course select our starter car and learn about the different types of wingmen, a new mechanic on this game. You can either have a blocker, which hits other cars taking them out of the race, a drafter, which makes a slipstream that you can follow and will make you go faster, and at last, a scout, which will find shortcuts and mark them on the map for you. They are also known as the useless ones. As you may or may not notice, the graphics got a big upgrade on this one. I believe the car models aren't that different, but the reflections here are a whole different story. Might even be considered overdone by some people. The art style in this game is completely different from what we saw in Rockport previously, as where before we had a gritty, yellow industrial city look to the entire game. Now we have a blue filter, nighttime, and a lot more techno music and visuals to the game. Gone are these simple event markers from Most Wanted. Now everything is neon with light trails around it. I honestly couldn't tell which one is better as they are simply different art styles. The graphics definitely are a step up from the last game, yes. But style-wise, I really enjoyed both. Even the menus look like something futuristic. It's really awesome. Motion blur is back, now with the addition of a lot of camera shake, which to my knowledge is something that people dislike as much as the yellow filter in Most Wanted. But again, I didn't mind it as much. My second playthrough of this game was with the motion blur disabled, and damn, I felt like that's the worst thing you can do for this game. Disabling the motion blur is exactly like removing any sense of speed that this game has. I can understand the dislike of most people over motion blur. Hell, I'm one to disable it in most games, but this one is definitely a no-no for me. And just like in Most Wanted, the vibe this game gives you is extremely cool. You might not like the type of environment they're going for here, but I can safely say that they perfectly did what they were going for. It might not be for everyone, but I love it. You get a late night city aesthetic mixed with the blue future and neon strips. Oh man. And talking about the city, one thing that people didn't seem to agree with me is that I believe that they really went for an underground-like design for the city. No, don't click out yet! They have underpasses in parts of the city, the Chinese part of town that also has the jumps in them, and I don't know man, many places I kept going through the campaign just kept reminding me of underground. I know it's definitely not the same city, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I've been here before. Oh yeah, the gameplay. This one is a mixed bag for me. Cars definitely feel heavier than in Most Wanted. That could be something negative or positive depending on what you like. For me, again, it's simply different. I don't mind if a game goes for a different type of handling if that's what the devs believe it should be. However, there are some things that I simply can't ignore. Instead of the menu we talked about in the Most Wanted video where you could do some tuning to your car, you now have a menu where you can upgrade your car, letting you select different brands for the parts and changing some things around. Like if you would prefer nitrous that is more durable and slower, or quicker and shorter. Or for example, if you'd like your car to oversteer or understeer. However, you notice that if you would prefer your car to oversteer, your car will suddenly not turn anymore. Why? Well, that's because the configurations are completely reversed. This is one of the things that always amazes me, as how in the hell can something like this pass without anyone ever noticing it during development? Was it never tested during it? I guess we'll never know. Still on the gameplay side of things, drifting is back. After being completely absent from the last game, it takes the place of drag races. And this is probably the most controversial part of this game. Even growing up, I had friends that really enjoyed drifting in this game, and others who hated how weird it feels. And I'll admit it feels very weird. But it is also probably my favorite type of drifting in Need for Speed games so far. I'm not very good at it, but it feels extremely fun to play. The weird part comes from how your car handles during these. Instead of being like Underground where they simply make your car slide more, in Carbon you have a completely different thing. Your car seems way faster during these events, it slides extremely fast, even going faster while drifting. I can safely say I love how it plays. It takes a minute to get used to, but after you do, you'll be aiming to the next drift event whenever you get a new area. And that's another point we should talk about. There is no blacklist in this game. Instead, you start your own crew and get into the fight for new territories, taking them over from the other crews. Whenever you win more than half of the events on an area, you dominate that area. And if you dominate a whole section of the map, you are challenged to a face-off against whoever owns it. One race in the city and another one in the canyons. Canyon races are also a completely new mode. First, your opponent starts in front and both of you race down the mountain. The closer you stick to him, the more points you make. After you get to the end of the race, you race again, but with you in front, and the points you gather start going down. The closer he is to you, the faster you lose. And your objective is to get to the end of the mountain before your time runs out. It is awesome and very tense. I'll talk more about this later. Here's the biggest offender of this game for me though, police chases. Because there's no blacklist in this game, there's no reason for you to get noted by the police, and that means that there are no real objectives while in a pursuit. All you have to do is escape whenever the cops find you, and that makes it feel extremely pointless. Every single time I was playing this game and a pursuit started, it felt like a huge waste of time. Not only that, but even in condition 1, the cops stay away from you so you don't take them out as easily. But then if you try to run away, they can easily keep up with your car. It makes for an extremely frustrating experience, which is a shame coming from Most Wanted. You do get some reward cars if you escape pursuits, but that's about it. There's really nothing much to it. And the soundtrack. I know this one is also very divisive, and I used to hate the soundtrack of this game when I was younger. I mean, what happened to the metal songs and hip-hop from Most Wanted? However, now that I'm not 12 years old anymore, I can safely say that this is one of my favorite soundtracks in the series. Not only the selection of music they got for the game fit that aesthetic that I mentioned perfectly, giving you almost a sci-fi vibe to the game, but the composed soundtrack is simply amazing. Remember the canyon races I was talking about before? The music enhances that experience 100 times more every time you go down the mountain. It makes you feel tense, and considering you can actually fall down the mountains if you screw up, you should be. The songs they made for the races are, again, extremely fitting. It sucks that it seems to get overlooked a lot of the time, but I should highly recommend that not only you hear the songs, but try the canyons in Carbon. For the copyrighted music, It's hard to say. I really love the songs in this game, but there's a big problem. You will only hear certain songs depending on the car you are using. So, for example, if you use a tuner, you'll hear electronic music. If you drive a muscle, you'll hear rock. And for exotics, hip-hop and grime. I'm not gonna lie, it is a cool idea. It makes so the music fits the game even better, but it also makes it pretty repetitive unless you have a lot of cars to pick from. Which also brings me to another problem. The game is extremely short. I mean, extremely short. In my playthrough of this game, I started the game with the RX-8, changed it to an Elise and finished the game on a Murcielago. That's it. Alright, I did go back and buy a Clio at some point by mistake, but that doesn't even count. Just because I bought the Clio, I was stuck with a crappy car for a while, so you don't even have money to spare to try other cars. I finished the game in about 5 hours. And I had time to screw around, so if you want, you can finish this game in way less time than that. The story seems to be cut short at some point, and even Cross goes away before anything really happens. So that's something to keep in mind. And talking about the story, you learn that the day you left, a lot of things happened. Your car didn't get stopped by the police, the money bags were changed, someone let you escape and closed the exit right after you ran away, so there's definitely something fishy going on. With each crew you defeat, you talk to the racers of the crew, with them wanting to work for you. I think this is the perfect moment to also mention the introduction cutscenes you get. Most are fine, but there is one that I simply couldn't handle. What? Okay. Come on, do something cool, man. Are you kidding me? Oh god. What the fuck was that? Oh my god, that was awesome. Can I watch it again? So I finished recording and I noticed I forgot the parts about the customization. So I'll just add it right here. So sorry if it sounds different, but whatever. The customization in this game. I'm not sure what other races were doing at the time, but this was the start of pretty good customization in Need for Speed games. You now have autosculpt, where you can modify parts of the car like bumpers, spoilers, wheels, make them larger, smaller, whatever you want. Vinyls are also better, letting you put whatever vinyl in the car, move it anywhere, stretch it, spin it, whatever. It is crazy to think that this wasn't common before, and a big reason why a lot of cars look like this. You do lose some stuff from Most Wanted, again, like the customizable HUD, but I believe it's a small price to pay for something that is still used to this day in video games. By the time you get to the last area, Darius lets you know that he was the one behind it all, and leaves you to be brought to jail by Cross. However, Nikki paid Cross to change his sides, as he is a bounty hunter and not a cop anymore. And now, she also knows what happened, and she'll side with you as a drafter to take down Darius. You do the exact same you did before, take down his territory piece by piece, and in the end, you race Darius himself, who, after losing, leaves the city. And well, that's it. No goodbyes, only happily ever afters. You know, even to this day, as much as this isn't my favorite Need for Speed, I still believe it is definitely worth a play. The world around you actually feels interesting and cool to be in. You got great villains that are only expanded by the cameras you see during the races against them. Awesome cars, great atmosphere, great music, it is awesome. Too bad the game is cut short, but what seems to be rush problems. It really seems like if the game had more time to be developed, it could be something way bigger than Most Wanted was. But it is definitely still worth playing. But yeah, for now I think that's it for this video. Enjoy it while it lasts. There's always someone better than you out there. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video, and even more for actually making it to the end. I want to give you a huge thank you for all the members of the channel that are still supporting me throughout this whole time. None of these videos could be done without your help, so thank you for supporting me and helping me keep the channel growing. There are still a lot of things that I want to do, but everything at its time. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.